Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Right here, right now, where I wanna be. Right here, right now, feels so good to me. Right here, right now, where I wanna be. Just as the sun will shine, the wind shall blow.
Stand up, stand up. Here we go. We're going to all say, rise up on my soul.
Rise up, all you souls.
Here we go.
1, 2.
beat.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be.
Well, good morning. Good morning to all of you here in the room, to all of you online, and welcome to Unity Church of Overland Park on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. I'm Reverend Eileen Stulak. I'm the Associate Minister of Operations here today. Our Senior Minister, Reverend Jackie Fernandez, is taking a day off. She may or may not be online with us. If you are, hey, Jackie, how you doing? But hopefully she's also just getting some rest and relaxation as well. And I'm very happy to be joined on the platform this morning by Reverend Jen Dickey.
Thank you so much. Good to see you all. Good morning.
Reverend Jen was ordained just last year and was in the Houston community, which was also my first Unity church as well, and moved here, is now working on staff at Unity Worldwide Ministries. And she told me over there before that she's kind of a Chiefs fan. She's okay with the Chiefs.
I have one red shirt. We're getting it. We're getting
One red
there.
shirt. It's a start. It's a start, and they had a good game yesterday, and so we just see them continuing on that path, hopefully towards that Super Bowl. So we are going to. Oh yes.
I do want to say one thing, that as far as I know, Reverend Jackie, just want to reassure everyone, Reverend Jackie is not curled up in the fetal position because she hasn't read the Bible. As far as I know, she's doing okay, but since I am not Reverend Jackie, I just want to quote Philippians 4:4, which is rejoice in the Lord always. I say it again, rejoice. Rejoice in love, rejoice in happiness, rejoice in life.
Amen. Amen to that. That's a prayer in and of itself. But we like to do that around here, and we're going to spend a lot of time in prayer over the coming weeks with a new series. And so let's start our service, as we always do, with an opening prayer. And so we take a moment to just turn within and make that intentional connection with the presence of God in us. And as Spirit would have it, I woke up to an email this morning. Words from the late poet Mary Oliver. And it simply said, praying. Just pay attention, then patch a few words together, and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but the doorway into thanks, and a silence into which another voice may speak. So let's cross that threshold together in this very moment. Let's go through that door and open our heart to thanks, to gratitude for all that is in our lives that is so, so good, and the goodness of God in us that helps us move through the times we might label otherwise. But for now, we allow that energy of love and peace and joy to just wash over us as we step into all that is ours to experience this day. And so it is for the opportunity we have in any given moment to pray. We do so from a place of love and a place of gratitude in our hearts. And so it is. So it is.
As we breathe gratitude, love, we know our connection to the divine. And so let's affirm together, there is only love, only one presence and one power in the universe. And in my life, God, the source of all good. And let's sing together, a light in this world. I'm a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. Come on up, guys. We need some information.
We're here for
We're begging for it.
We're here.
All right. I see you now. You've taken off your cloak of invisibility, I see. You've taken off your cloak of invisibility, I see. I can see you now, Ellis.
I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Reverend Fred, Terry Swope, James Albright, Brian Stever, Stacy Storm, and Reverend Eileen and Reverend Dickey. And Reverend Eileen's message this morning is the power of prayer.
Okay, and we have a few announcements for you this morning. First, the chair yoga class has decided to take a break for a while. They will circle back with us in the summer to see if there's interest in restarting the group at the time. Also, the men's breakfast, the men's group meeting will be on Saturday, February 4th, this coming Saturday. Please join them and us for breakfast at the Lenexa Public Market at 8:30 a.m. Then at 9 o'clock, the group will move across the street to the Lenexa Public Library for a special presentation and a time of further discussion and connection. And go Chiefs, by the way. They live to see another day.
The Folks with Faith group usually meets on the fourth Saturday of each month. This month, the Folks with Faith will not have their morning meeting, but will join with all the rest of us that are going to Hamburger Mary's. And for those of you who have signed up here at the church to attend Hamburger Mary's, here's what you need to know. You should arrive no later than 3:30 p.m. on the 28th. When you arrive, tell them you were with Reverend Eileen of Unity Church. You'll be seated as tables are available. If you did not sign up here at the church and you wish to attend, you can go to Hamburger Mary's website, place yourself on the waiting list. The event is not sold out, so being on the waiting list will put you ahead of walk-ins.
And now, let's speak the joint vision statement of Unity Church. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
Thank you, guys. Terry, you want to sing a song? Okay. Somebody else want to sing a song? There we go.
Maestro. You can look to the stars for your next encrypted clue. You can stand idly by, waiting for someone to tell you what to do. But you will wait, and you'll hear nothing. You'll be mystified as to what went wrong. But when you wait, know that something you realize for too long. It is beautiful if you make it so. God is with you all the time. It is wonderful if you let it flow. You'll find joyfulness in time. You are searching for your destiny. You are looking to be free. It will happen once you finally know that you and God alone will make it so. Sometimes it's hard to look inside and figure out what's going on. It can be hard to decide what is right for you and what is wrong. But after all, created you and knows what you dream of getting out of life. And after all, it's not just a lucky few who will manage to see God's light. It is beautiful if you make it so. God is with you all the time. It is wonderful if you let it flow. You'll find joyfulness in time. You are searching for your destiny. You are looking to be free. It will happen, won't you finally know that you and God alone will make it so. 'Cause you got the gift of life, and it's better to decide to make the most of every day. Just think yours is the gift of life. It's in your hands to do it right. All the while God knows the perfect way. It is beautiful if you make it so. God is with you all the time. It is wonderful if you let it flow. You'll find joyfulness in time. You are searching for your destiny. You are looking to be free. It will happen once you finally know that you and God alone will make it so.
Thank you so much, everybody up here on this platform. Oh, so today we are beginning a 5-Sunday series on prayer. We're going to take a look at that from many different perspectives, and our focus today is on the power of prayer. Earlier this week, I saw that phrase used in an article that was written about specifically the healing power of prayer. And the article was written by John Pavlovitz. He is an author, a former church pastor, an activist out of Wake Forest, North Carolina. And he is known for his progressive views on Christianity. And he posed a couple of questions in his article that gave me pause. And while his focus for writing was on the physical healing of prayer, I think we can insert the focus of any prayer when considering these questions, because the first one he asked was, does prayer really heal people? And on the broader scale, basically that is asking, does prayer really work? And then the second question was, does God move in response to people's prayers in a way God would not otherwise? Now, the impetus for Mr. Pavlovitz's article was the real-time story that we have all been witnessing over the last several weeks, and that is the story of Damar Hamlin, the football player. Less than a month ago, I would posit that the vast majority of people in this country had no idea who Damar Hamlin was. Now, yes, if you live in Buffalo, New York, if you are a fan of the Buffalo Bills football team, yes, you likely knew of him. Or if you live in my first hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and followed his collegiate career at Pitt, yes, you likely knew of him. But most of us did not. But then we saw him make a tackle, collapse, and go into cardiac arrest. He was given CPR on the field, and his heart restarted. We saw him being taken to the hospital, and we have followed his amazing recovery as he has since been dismissed from the hospital. He's back at his home in Buffalo, continuing his healing journey from there. And John Pavlovitz noted in his article how many folks on social media have been affirming this recovery as being the result of, quote unquote, the power of prayer. There's someone else that I would posit that the vast majority of people in this country, as well as all around this world, did know of, and did so from the very moment she was born. And that's Lisa Marie Presley. A week or so ago, she collapsed, and she went into cardiac arrest. She was given CPR, and her heart restarted. She was taken to the hospital. And her mother immediately went to social media and asked us to pray for her daughter. And we did. And a few short hours later, Ms. Presley died. Is that an affirmation of the lack of the power of prayer? Now, I know that there are many differences between these two individual human beings. Mr. Hamlin was an athlete, had been one for probably the majority of his life, and he was probably in very good health and physical condition. He received immediate attention from a whole team of medical professionals the moment he collapsed. Ms. Presley, for years, had been very open about her struggles with drug addiction. And we know the adverse impacts that can have on the human body. And we don't know how long it was before she received medical attention that she did after she went into cardiac arrest. But you know, we're not talking about Mr. Hamlin. We're not talking about Ms. Presley this morning. We're talking about prayer. And we're talking about the power of prayer. Something that I believe that most who engage with it would say that it is more powerful than any given circumstance or situation that comes into our lives. That being said, Mr. Pavlovitz wrote about the problem that he sees with prayer. Now again, he wrote this about healing. I would say add in any other prayer request you can think of. And he said the problem is that we have to make sense of the results. He says, if the person lives or otherwise recovers, we somehow believe that we have engineered their survival and need to process why our prayers were enough and the person's in the hospital room next to ours weren't. And he went on to say that, and when healing doesn't come or when any particular desired result does not manifest in our lives, we second guess whether we've prayed hard enough. Or we try to figure out why our petitions failed. And either way, he says, it's not a healthy way to live. So we're going to look at prayer. We're going to look at the power of prayer through a lens today that might shed some light that can help us to eliminate the questions of doubt. Take those two scenarios that I just shared and do so in a way that could not only help us take those questions out of the equation, but also help us live a life, and all life brings, in a much healthier way. Now, throughout this series on prayer, we're going to be joined every Sunday by one of our prayer chaplains. And so today I'd like to invite Ruth Ann Tannery to join me on the platform. And as she makes her way here, I will share that she is going to offer a reading to you that will provide the template for our perspective today on the power of prayer. And this reading was included in an introduction to a Unity booklet that was written by the Silent Unity Prayer Ministry and published many years ago. And the booklet was titled, The Gift of Prayer.
The simplest definition of prayer is communion with God. There are as many ways to pray as there are people, if not more. All of them make a difference. Whether we sing, plead, write, rejoice, give thanks, or whisper in our souls, or shout it to the rooftops, we are connecting with God, and because of that, we are changed. Prayer softens our hearts and sets our course straight. It heals us at depth, changes our perspective, and expands our awareness. Prayer reminds us that outer appearances are simply that, appearances. The truth, with a capital T, lies within.
Thank you, Ruth Ann. There were two phrases in that reading that really struck me the first time I read that introduction. And the first is it said that all prayers make a difference. All prayers make a difference. And then perhaps the reason that is so, it went on to say that when we pray, when we make that connection with Spirit, we are changed. We are changed. I'm changed. You're changed. That is the one constant that I absolutely believe to be true about every single kind of prayer. The only thing that changes as a result of being in prayer is me, and if you're praying, it's you. And that is what the power of prayer is all about. It's about how that power makes itself known to us within us, how we ignite it, and how it brings about change in our lives. And the first way the booklet offered as to how prayer changes us is that it softens our hearts and sets our course straight. From my own experience, I can say that sometimes a heart gets hardened when attention is focused on the life experiences that are sometimes difficult. Divorce, illness, loss of a job, financial struggles, and the like. And in that place, that lens, that focus, I can clearly see and I also feel things like anger and fear and doubt and resentment and the like. All things that can harden one's heart. All things that can keep me, keep you looking outside of ourselves. Prayer calls us to look inside ourselves. Prayer, connecting with, being in communion with God, that's an act of softening the edges of our hearts. About 10 years ago, I was sent a link to a website for a minister whose name was Taylor Stevens. And at that time, he was an interfaith minister in West Palm Beach area of Florida. And today, he's the senior minister at Unity of the Palm Beaches. And when I opened that link for that first time, it immediately popped up his personal statement about prayer. What he affirmed every day was, I personally live within a deep knowing that the presence and power of prayer is the force that is transforming this world. Now, it wasn't long before I went to his website that he had received a diagnosis of cancer. And it would have been very natural for him, for anyone, to have some of those more negative emotions that I just shared, or to just be angry with God, or turn away from prayer altogether. But he had had this mantra of an affirmation about prayer that I believe had been working in him and changing him for years. Because this is how he responded to the diagnosis. He said, I know that I currently reside in a perfect place of consciousness to allow this disease to awaken, open, and expand me. I do not choose to see this as something that is wrong or needing fixed. I do not see this as an indication of my spiritual failings. I do not choose to resist this or to reject this. I am certain that the only way for me to glean the good from this is to remain open to it. I will take action from a place of tenderness, loving kindness, and compassion for myself and for those who share this journey with me. I know I will endure long after it has left, and so I lovingly and gratefully open the gift that it has come to bring. More and more of me. Those are words of a softened heart. Those are words of someone who knows the capital T truth of who he is and who is choosing to this day to continue expressing from that loving essence regardless of what is going on around him in life. The second statement that Silent Unity noted is that prayer heals us at depth, changes our perspectives, and expands our awareness. As you might expect, Google is a great resource for finding a multitude of perspectives on any number of given things, and that was certainly the case when I Googled the power of prayer. And one resource that popped up was a website, explorefaith.org. And it had asked the question of its viewers, what is the power of prayer? And a minister by the name of Margaret Gunnis, who I learned is now deceased, had written this response. She said, it's the power that comes when we're able to be centered, anchored in a belief, and rooted in, again, a capital T truth, which is stronger and deeper than the day-to-day truths we struggle with. The power of prayer is the constant renewal of perspective. Prayer opens our eyes. It extends our horizons. It sheds light into the darkness. It gives us new ways of seeing life. When I was thinking about my personal experiences with healing and new perspectives and expanding awareness, I often think of my journey with Catholicism. And I do so because I was pretty disillusioned with and angry at Catholicism when I stepped away from it in 2001. About a year and a half after that, when I began attending a Unity church, I was often referred to by the folks there as a recovering Catholic. And I personally didn't like the term. I still don't like it today. But at that time, it reminded me that there was still some healing to do around Catholicism's place in my life. So fast forward to the spring of 2009. I'm in my last term of seminary, and one of the classes I had was to serve an internship as a hospital chaplain. And during one of my overnight shifts, my pager starts going off, and the operator tells me that their family is there who has requested prayer for a loved one who had just died. The operator went on to tell me that the man who died was Catholic. His entire family is here. They are Catholic, and they need you to offer the Catholic prayer for the dead. My immediate reaction was just internal discomfort about praying Catholic prayers. They didn't resonate with me at all, but I also wanted to be a comforting pastoral presence to a family in grief. So I run down to the chaplain's office, I grab the book that was literally titled The Book of Catholic Prayers, and I step into the elevator, and for 2 or 3 floors that it took me to get to where this man's room was, I'm just praying that I could leave my personal crap, my personal stuff outside his door, and walk in and truly offer and be a blessing to this man's soul and his family. There must have been a dozen people in the room. I walked in, they were all silent. They all had tears just streaming out of their eyes down their cheeks. And one of his daughters came over to me. She took my hand and she told me that her father had been a very devout man. She told me that he always prayed, and that this last prayer was one that would mean so much to him and for the family. She said, we need this prayer in order to honor him and let him go. As I read aloud the words to this Catholic prayer for the dead, the family all around me was second in line to receive the healing and the comfort they offered. because they were touching me first. I spoke from my heart. And as I did, I saw with new perspective the blessing that the Catholic teachings can be, because I saw tears stop. I saw body tensions ease. I felt a wave of relief and release coming over everyone in the room. I felt healing taking place in me as each member took the time to form a line and individually come to me to give me a hug and thank me for being there for them when they needed me the most. And I had this new awareness around Catholicism that would now be a part of my ongoing expression. You see, I had been changed, and that stuff that I had left outside the gentleman's door, it wasn't there when I turned to leave. The last statement offered by Silent Unity about prayer was that it reminds us that outer appearances are just that. They are appearances, and that capital T truth lies within us. And it can be difficult to hold on to that truth while we're experiencing the realities of human life. It's that delicate dance that whether we're aware of it or not, we do it every day. We dance between our spiritual and our human natures. So when we can't remember, we need to be reminded of God's presence in us, all around us, that it is the well from which we can bring forth our innate divine power. And we do this through prayer. We pray in faith, and we don't always get the results that we want. But you know, in the 21st chapter of Matthew's Gospel, it reminds us, all things you ask in prayer, believing, you'll receive. And in the 11th chapter of the book of Hebrews, it reminds us that part of having faith is to have a conviction in things unseen. One way that John Pavlovitz sees prayer today is as something that connects us personally to God in ways that cannot be quantified. You see, God, Spirit, whatever you want to call it, it's not this distinctive being that we can see and touch and feel. You know, it, along with the act of prayer itself, is intangible, often unquantifiable. I would venture to say always a mystery. I, and I'm sure you, have lived in the depths of that mystery so many times. And the one thing that helps me to release those questions of doubt and take comfort in the mystery is another phrase. And it's one you often hear me say when I pray. I speak the specifics of the prayer, and then words of releasing that prayer, remaining unattached to any specific outcomes. See, affirming this, what I can see, what I can imagine, or something better, a conviction in what I cannot yet see. This or something better. 4 words that can be a catalyst for us to really experience the power of prayer active within us and therefore in our lives. So does the power of prayer really work? It's a question that each of us has to answer for ourselves. John Pavlovitz has come to a place in his life where he believes the power of prayer to be when it unlocks our empathy, when it brings people together. He views the power itself as a beautiful expression of love, whether that love is being expressed to ourselves or whether we are offering it to another. He sees that power as being a sacred act of kindness. One prayer that he described as having been answered was one connected to Damar Hamlin and all those prayers that were offered on his behalf. He said, seeing a multitude of disparate and otherwise divided people coalesce around the fate of a single human being and watching their effusive joy at his recovery is a certain answered prayer. And I would add to that about an hour ago, on the grounds of Graceland in Memphis, Tennessee, And throughout this country and all around this world, we were given another opportunity, that of seeing a multitude of disparate and otherwise divided people coalesce around the fate of a single human being, and watching their deep sorrow and profound pain and grief as Lisa Marie Presley was laid to rest. This too was a certain answered prayer. Probably not the answer that any of us would have preferred, but answered in the way that love and empathy and caring and kindness were ignited within the hearts of so many people and offered. You see, both circumstances, they were experiences of millions of people laying aside their stuff, that human stuff, and instead making the choice to say a prayer, choosing to be and to offer a presence of love and caring and kindness and compassion. That's not only answered prayer. To me, that's what I call living a life of prayer. And what a wonderful and powerful life that is. God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Eileen. Let's all settle in for a time of prayer, a time of meditation, finding peace, finding joy, finding love. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself.
So we move into this time of holy communion with God, a time of letting go of the outer and connecting with Spirit within. As we take a breath or two in and release. And in that release, we let go of our concerns, our doubts, distractions, and simply rest in God's presence. When we pray, we remember our spiritual essence. And in that remembrance, our hearts open to all that is holy and sacred in us, all that is Spirit in us. We once again embrace our faith. We expand our perspectives. We open to all that is possible, whether we can see it, imagine it, or not. All we need do is affirm its manifestation in God's time, in Spirit's way. So from this place of prayer, we each ask in the silence of our hearts, what is my prayer for this day? What is my prayer for this moment? What is it that I can say yes to before I even know what it is? So we move into that time of silence so that another voice might speak to us in ways that we can hear, feel, experience. And so we listen in a time of silence. We began our time together today, opening a door in us to gratitude. Meister Eckhart once said that if the only prayer that we would ever say was thank you, it would be enough. And so we do give thanks for Spirit's presence in us, for the power of prayer in us. And now we take all that we have held, spoken or within our hearts, and we gently let it go. We let our prayers go of forming answers coming forth in the right and perfect time, in the right and perfect form. As always, we pray this or something better. And for that, we are grateful. And so it is.
So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself.
Reverend Eileen, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing us into that heart space. And so I want to take the time to acknowledge all the prayer requests that have come in this past week, holding them in our hearts. For those you may have on your mind right now, bring them into this time and space. And if you ever wonder if there's something that you could pray for, what can you pray for? I invite you to turn on the TV, turn on the news, turn on social media. There's so much to pray for. And so we just acknowledge that in this moment, every prayer that has come in, knowing that this or something greater. So it is. And so now is the time in our service where we have our offering. So whatever you're doing, whether you're watching online, whether you're here in person, no matter what way that you choose to give, whether it's text to give, it's a monetary donation, putting your hand over that offering bag. We collectively bring ourselves together in the energy of the divine flow, and we participate in that with joy. So I invite you now to speak our offering prayer together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am joy-filled and grateful. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend John. Yeah.
You may not hear it, but there's a song for you. You may not feel it, but there's a lot of love for you. Yeah, you stand at the gate of the world you create. So accept and rejoice. It's you who makes the choice. Come on in. Welcome to the dance. It's an open invitation. Welcome to the dance. You may not see it, but there's a way to go. And you may not believe it just because it doesn't show, but it's right here, it won't wait. The world you create, let it rain, make it shine. Watch it all align. Come on in. Welcome to the dance. It's an open invitation. Welcome to the dance. Oh, come on in and take a chance. It's a fluid situation. Welcome to the dance. Get up and dance. Come on, get up and dance. Come on, get up and dance. Yeah, yeah, come on, come on, get up and dance. Hey, come on in. Welcome to the dance. It's an open invitation. Welcome to the dance. Oh, come on in. Come on and take your chance. It's a fluid situation. Welcome to the dance. Welcome to the dance. Welcome to the dance.
Terry Swope.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Terry Swope, James Albright, Brian Stever, the Reverend Fred. Thank you all so very much for that. And I just got to share, I love that song in general, but I really love that song. It's the first time I heard it was the day that y'all were gathered here and Reverend Jackie announced that she had decided to invite me to come join her on the staff here. And so that was the Sunday that song was sung and that announcement was made. It's a good song. It's a really good song. Someone else I want to thank is those of you who are on our hospitality team. That is the team that we are highlighting as our volunteer team of the month. They come early, they stay late, they provide all the goodies and the refreshments that we all enjoy after the service. And so we want to give our acknowledgement to them if we could. And I also want to say that there are several volunteer teams within the church, and many of them in service on Sunday. We are open and enrolling on all of them, and so if you feel drawn in any way to step into service, I guarantee you, you will be changed, because it is something that, again, touches you first as you give of yourself to someone else. And so if you have any desire to learn more about any of our teams, Lona Davis heads that coordination up for us. See her after the service, or there's always a sign-up sheet on the table in the back. You can put your name down on there and she or someone will get in touch with you right away. I also want to share real quickly that we've got new member orientation coming up, the first cycle for this year. It's going to be on February 9th and 16th on Zoom. The ministerial team and leaders of the community will offer that orientation with a very special blessing to new members on Sunday the 19th. And so if you are interested in finding out more about becoming a member of the community, there's a sign-up sheet on the table in the back. There's also one available to you online at the website. The link was in the e-news. Let us know. And in whether on either sheet, and what I'm trying to say is that ASL interpretation will be available as well. Let's see. So join us in the cafe when we're fully complete. Let's speak our mission statement together. Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world. And those difference makers are on their way in right now. Let's welcome in our kids.
We are walking as the light, as the light, as the light. We are walking as the light of God. As the light, 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 as the light of God.
Everyone. So today we had a lovely little group here. No YOU, sadly, but Hera got to join us, which was just as fun. Emily's going to tell you what we talked about today.
We talked about music. How it connects all of us together, in the rhythm, and cultural and spiritual.
And what else did we do?
We made people out of kinetic sand, and they look like potatoes, but we put beads in them, and we were pretending that they were organs.
So, we talked about music, how it connects us, and put organs in people's bodies. So, you guys can all go ahead and stand and join us for our closing song.
Here we go.
Love, 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 yeah. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's so easy, yeah. Nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can't save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time. It's all so easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. could know that isn't known. And there's nothing you can't see that isn't shown. No way you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's so easy.
All you need is love. I love it. Come on. All you need is love.
Everybody. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. All together now. All you need is love. Everybody. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Yeah. Whoa. I sing about love. You know I can. Oh, feel about love. Oh, yes, I am. Early in the morning, late in the evening. Talk about you, me, all of unity. Friends, you know, all you need is love. Hit me.
All right, if you would join with me now in speaking together the words to our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is, and all is well. Have a fabulous week, everybody.